Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to take you through the learning curve I went through trying to paint a kitchen island. So, my brother and sister in law had an idea of painting their kitchen island black, and they were doing a great job until it came to painting the cabinets. They painted some of the cabinets with no preparation using the same paint they did for the walls. But they stopped because the finish wasn't nice and smooth like a kitchen cabinet should be. And then a couple weeks later, they noticed the paint was starting to chip off. Because they know I refinish furniture, they thought maybe I could help them out. And I knew that painting kitchen cabinets was not the same as painting furniture, but I mean, how different could it really be? So I took a whack at it. Why not? So after removing the doors from the frames, I needed to remove the paint they had. I used clean strip, paint remover, and stripper to remove the paint. Whenever using this product, always remember to be in a well ventilated area and use gloves. After waiting the recommended 15 minutes for the chemical reaction to take place, the paint typically starts to bubble up. In this case, since the doors weren't prepped at all, removing the paint was extremely easy. To actually remove the paint, I used a flex scraper and gently removed it to ensure I didn't scrape or scratch the surface of the cabinets. Once I was done with all of that, I used clean strip mineral spirit to clean it off and stop the chemical reaction. Okay, attempt number 2. I took these cabinets and treated them as if they were a piece of furniture. I lightly sanded them, applied a layer of primer, and then painted them. When I was done with those steps, before I even sealed them, they looked awful. Just awful. The texture was super rough and bumpy. There were areas with too much paint and some areas that didn't have enough paint. It was just not a good start. So, guess what? Yep, I went back and I removed all of that paint and primer to all of the drawers and cabinets. Yes, all of them, since I had already finished them all. I applied a layer of paint remover and stripper, removed the paint with the flex scraper, and cleaned them off with the mineral spirits. This was so frustrating, but it was okay. I was determined to get this right. Attempt number 3. Third time's a charm. Since I needed this to be super smooth, I went in and sanded the pieces down with a 400 grit sandpaper to ensure that they were smooth and prepped for my next attempt. Once I felt the surface was nice and leveled, I cleaned them off to remove any dust residue that they had with a clean, wet rag. For this attempt, we went and bought the correct type of paint, the one that's specialized for cabinets, doors, and trims, in a limousine leather color, so a really dark black. Now, what is so special about this paint versus the one I was using before? Well, this is something I learned during this process. Cabinet paint has some extra features. It contains more resins, which prevents scratches, staining, and fading. They're typically self leveling, which means that once the application is on, it will naturally level out to camouflage imperfections. And it provides a high quality finish. So you don't have to seal them. They're already meant to be on these type of surfaces as is. Now, even with the right paint, I was having some issues. The paint was thicker than I was used to, and once it was dried, it was still very streaky. And I'm not gonna lie, I was getting really frustrated to the point where I actually forgot to film how it looked. But it was pretty bad. I was feeling kind of defeated. And then my brother did some research and he found a little bit more about the paint. And he was mentioning that if you add some water to the paint, it makes it easier to apply and it is more forgiving. So that's what I did. I added some water to the paint, and even this was a learning process. What you see me doing right now, I just had too much water. So once it was like on the surface, the water to paint ratio was off. I did play around with this a little bit, and basically what I found, it was about a fourth of a cup of water to 1 cup of paint. That was kind of the perfect ratio. The other thing I did is I used a little bit of a combo of a brush for the hard to reach areas like the corners, and then a foam roller for the smooth surfaces. That seemed to be the magic trick. Now, by adding water to the paint, I had to add more layers of paint to reach the black color I was looking for. So I ended up adding 3 layers of paint, lightly sanding them with a 400 grit sandpaper in between each layer and ensuring to clean off all the dust residue to make sure it was a nice and smooth surface. Now, once I had that process down, it was game over. I was on a roll. I was determined to get this kitchen island finished. You may be wondering, what did I do to prep the frame of the cabinets? First, I cleaned them super well with some soap and water to get any grease or oil that might be on them. Then I used clean strip liquid sandpaper to prep the surface for painting. And similar to the cabinet doors, I applied 3 layers of paint. And once everything was done, all I had to do was reassemble. One last little detail. This section right here, my brother and sister in law wanted a chalkboard so they could write little messages to each other so that the kids could be entertained when they were cooking or cleaning in this area, or, just anything else that they wanted to do. So I went and I bought some Rust-Oleum chalkboard paint. To prep the area, I cleaned the surface with soap and water. I used a 220 grit sandpaper to scuff the surface very, very well. I cleaned all the dust off with a wet rag, and I applied a layer of all-purpose primer because this paint was not like the cabinet paint. Then I applied 3 layers of paint, lightly sanding them with a 400 grit sandpaper in between each layer. Okay, guys. So after about 2 weeks of trial and error, a roller coaster of frustration, and multiple mishaps with getting these cabinets painted and looking nice and smooth as they should, we went from an all white kitchen island to an all black kitchen island. A few things I would have changed, but I've also learned from this process were number one, use the correct paint. Always use the correct paint for your projects. Number two, do more research. Don't just jump into these type of projects. Even though I did research, I felt like I didn't do enough research. And number three, be patient and know it's going to be okay. It's a bit of a trial and error, but at the end of the day, it'll get done. One other thing I would change if I ever paint another kitchen or cabinets in the future is I would definitely paint the inside of the cabinets to give it more of a uniform and complete look. For my brother and sister in law, they really didn't mind the inside of the cabinets being a completely different color, and they were just really happy with the results of the kitchen island. I hope you guys liked this video and learned from my mistakes. All I can tell you is that if you're thinking about painting your kitchen, just be patient and know that you're persistent, resilient, and you're gonna be able to get it done. Oh, and before I forget, and before you leave, please make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, guys, here at Angie's Crafts Furniture Renovation. Bye!